Hello and welcome to the More Cheese Less Whiskers podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and today we're talking with Jerry Sievers. And there's a couple of really great lessons in today's episode. Number one, here's a business that's been built over several years that's self-managing, that allows Jerry to not have to actually be an operating part of this business that he's been doing very successfully, starting with, he calls it a wedge, almost like just a little opening service that every business needs, every business wants to have done for them. And he's been able to build a very successful business around this. And you're going to hear all about the service, but you're going to see an example of an after unit business. This is a business that is built on the recurring relationship with clients that have built up a trust over time with Jerry. Now, the opportunity that he has also now is to syndicate this business, to take the business that he's already learned, he's already developed a system for, and to duplicate it in other areas of the country with people who want to have a business with recurring revenue that's predictable and can get to a point where it can support them without them actually having to work in the business. That sounds like a pretty good deal. So I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about, after unit businesses with recurring revenue and a model that can take you out of the equation so that it works while you're not having to work in it. I just love that. And I think you're going to too. So enjoy this episode.
Jerry. Dean Jackson, how are you, sir?
I'm so good. Is it Jerry? How do you say your last name, Jerry?
Sievers.
Sievers. Okay, perfect. That's what I was going to say. But you never know.
You never know.
So, welcome aboard. Where are you calling from?
Dean, I'm calling from Lawton, Oklahoma.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I am excited to chat today. I got everything ready here, and I'm seated in my favorite evil scheme hatching chair while I'm here in Toronto. It's a beautiful day. So tell me, what's going on? What's the Jerry Sievers story here?
Dean, the Jerry Sievers story is I've been in business for 22 years, and I caught the entrepreneurial bug many years ago when I was young. Try to put some things together here and there, and pretty much failed at everything as far as trying to get something off the ground. But back in '96, when I was working for Dillard's department store, I was selling shoes.
Okay.
And at that time, Dillard's was paying a 9.5% commission on shoes.
Okay.
And
wow.
I'm in that department, and I'm thinking, this is perfect for me because I love meeting people. And all I have to do is sell a pair of shoes, and I'm going to make 9.5% commission.
Mm-hmm.
So after doing that for about 7 years, I noticed, man, I want to get out on my own and do this, but there's one thing kind of that I don't have together, and that is when you get the commission check, on the first of every month, you have to start over.
Mm-hmm.
From zero.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, you know what? If I could solve that problem, that is the deal right there. So what I decided to do was to start out doing windows for commercial businesses only.
Okay.
Because somebody was telling me, Jerry, if you're going to try to do that, get money every single month after you sell one contract, and then next month you get two, and the next month you get three, what can you do that they will pay you on a weekly basis? And I thought about carpet cleaning, but then I thought most people who get their carpets cleaned, they only get it once a year or once every other year in most cases.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine was telling me, Jerry, I'm managing a Chili's, and we got to have our windows cleaned every single week. So that's what got me started into commercial only doing the window cleaning. And then after I got in there, when I looked around, I saw all kinds of other opportunities once you got your foot in the door, even as a break-even or a loss leader on the windows.
Uh-huh.
So I added pressure washing.
Mm-hmm.
I added parking lot striping. I added trimming their bushes. So what we do is we go to the business, we get our foot in the door with a 30-day free trial of the window cleaning or the pressure washing.
Yeah.
Within the back of our mind, knowing that when we get in there, we're going to splinter off into all these different directions. So where I'm at right now, Dean, is that works so well that we have over 450 monthly customers, which is after 22 years is not a lot of customers. But here's the key: when we got in there and we started doing that concept of splintering, once you're in there, mm-hmm. I haven't worked in 15 years.
That's so great. Good for you.
Yes, meaning once you set these up, Dean, you hire people, and on Monday, this crew goes here. They got their little schedule. Tuesday, this crew goes here, and they got their schedule.
Yeah.
So listening to your podcasts and things, here's what I'm hoping you'll say can work. I want to turn this business over to Logan, my 32-year-old daughter, mm-hmm. and the local part of it. But listening to Dean Jackson, I want to hopefully turn this thing into a your first six-figure business type of thing, and go world, United States and then worldwide. And the reason why I keep coming back to that idea, Dean, once you get in on those windows, or that free Windows 30 days, or that free pressure washing, if you go in there with the mindset that there's all this stuff that you can also do, and every let's say like we just picked up one with Cracker Barrel. Mm-hmm. And so we got in there on the 30-day free windows. The 30 days over, and now we got to have these windows done every week. So mm-hmm. then we added the pressure washing. But when you add windows and you add pressure washing, let's say even if you striped their parking lot, which we did, but after 90 days, after 6 months, the paint starts to fade, or mm-hmm. or even on the pressure washing, Dean, when you go in there, they'll hire you. Well, we've got money to do this front area and the garbage area, but for right now, that's all we got money for on a monthly basis. Okay?
Yeah.
But what you do is on a quarterly basis, you still got that entire parking lot that needs to be dealt with as far as pressure washing. So after 90 days, you go in and splinter off. You'll go in there and you'll say something like, I noticed the parking spaces have a bunch of oil and grease on there. We're running a special this month if you want to get that cleaned up, or we can leave a bid with you. Dean, it's just so powerful that the concept of the concept of this, and this is what I try to tell my friends about that do business. Mm-hmm. They are not good. Dean, this is the weirdest thing. You can go on a parking lot and those stripes could be 90% gone. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people will not call you. But the day that you go in there and say, hey, we do parking lot striping, I noticed your parking lot is, the lines are, we've been thinking about that for a long time. Right. Absolutely, leave us a bid. So that little, if we could call it a secret, of just saying something to somebody, gets them to take that action. It just blew me away after all these years that I always thought they just called me out of the yellow pages. They absolutely, unequivocally will not.
Right, because it never will jump to number one on anybody's to-do list. It's on there. They're aware of it, but it's not urgent, and it's not, in their minds, important enough to replace the urgent and important thing that they've got going on. That's always what people are managing, the daily urgencies. If something is screaming louder than the fading stripes in the parking lot, that's going to get all the attention. But they're aware of it, and as soon as somebody offers to solve that problem for them, they jump on it, just like you said. So congratulations, man. I mean, that really is your whole thing is you've taken Profit Activator 7, right? Nurture lifetime relationships with people, and you've seen you start out doing the windows, but you start to see all the other things that they're going to need. And you're somebody now that they know and they like and they trust, and you've got that opportunity to serve that person month after month after month. So that's amazing. You're really building a great business that way. It's a good model.
Yes, and and then after listening to the Dean Jackson podcast, it occurs to me that if you go in there with that mindset after you get that first set of windows, even when you go in there and let's say you close them after that free 30-day trial, you close them on the windows inside and out every other week, let's say. Well, then the summer happens, depending on what season it is, and you can even go back in there and say, hey, on a quarterly basis, maybe what you might want to think about, since those things get dustier on the outside more than they do on the inside, let's add one more. So it's just infinite of all the things you can do.
Yes.
So
good.
So now I'm thinking, where is it that I haven't worked for 15 years, and why is that? And you explained it really well, Dean. It does not excite me, and it does not energize me. What excites me and energizes me is to package this idea in your first six-figure business or whatever it is, and I would like to put that out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
You've got a model now that could work, right? That's really the thing. It's interesting, today seems like syndication day, but that's really what you've got is potentially something that could be syndicated, that somebody could follow your process and get the same results. Right.
Now, here's the rub where you gave me some really cool ideas on the world's most interesting postcard.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. My daughter and most people that I run into, Dean, do not like to do it the way I did it. I did it with no marketing, no newsletters, no nothing. I walked into the place, I shook hands, I looked them in the eye, I told them what I did. And so you're looking 22 years later. I have never, ever had a I don't really do websites. I don't do any of the stuff you're supposed to do.
Right.
But yet, you could almost write your own little ticket of how much money you want to make in a way, because I work out of my home. That saves me another $20,000 a year in this town. And, I wanted to do a business that I had some time for myself to do the things that do excite me and that do bring me energy.
Yeah.
So here's the rub. Logan, I want to turn this part of the business over to her, the local part of it. She does not like, and like so many other friends of mine, they do not like walking into a place cold.
Right.
And shaking hands and going into their spiel, so to speak.
Right.
So my idea was the postcard. The back of that postcard is to come up with the different offers for the different businesses that they might need striping, they might need more pressure washing. Is to send that thing because we're top of mind the whole time now. And on the back of that, we're running a special this month, and the special just happens to be what they need because we pre-checked it.
Oh, so you mean to all of your clients to send that to those? You said, how many did you say, 400 and something?
Yes.
businesses that you work with, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
so you would send that postcard, but on the back of that, where the offer comes in at, you would already have them categorized each month on who needs what. And so that postcard would only go to people who need striping. This postcard, this group of postcards would only go to people who need. They don't want striping, but they want their red zones, their no parking, fire zones repainted with their handicap.
Curbs. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm just thinking, my mind is just exploding with after listening to your podcast. It's just like, man, can this really happen for my business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much potential there. I was thinking also, so in order to syndicate this, your method of getting people started was walking in and talking to them. But I imagine, you start thinking about this, what would happen if you were going to restart this business in Winter Haven, Florida? What would you, because that's really what you're talking about, is how could you have a duplicatable process that I could deploy in Winter Haven to get the same success that you've had? What is the average of how much is a client worth on a annual basis or on a monthly basis?
Dean, I would say, this is really strange also. When you go in there, after 22 years, you start noticing patterns.
Yeah.
And for some reason, district managers and managers on the monthly invoice do not like to pay more than $300 on the monthly invoice. So that would take care of your power washing, that would take care of your windows, and that would take care of maybe trimming the bushes, once a month. So I would say, on that end of it, Dean, it's if I took the average of them, it's not that high. If you just concentrated on what you sold them on when you first got in there, I want to say it's only about $180 or $90 if I had to split it up, because in my mind, Dean, that's not where the money's at.
Okay.
But
even that, that is a pretty stable. I mean, you multiply that out by 400 people, and you got a nice base business there. That's great.
Right, and also remembering this, Dean, I haven't worked in 15 years because it was already set into place. And what's happening is the attrition percentage is so low, it'll just blow your mind, because you use your guarantee. Your guarantee's got to be pretty strong, which mine is. Yeah. Is for any reason you're not happy, we'll come out and do it again. And if you're still not happy, we won't invoice you.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, that's a great.
That's
a great thing. There was actually just an article, a case in Harvard Business Review in the last thing that was a model that a company used for giving people control of the invoice in a way where it's like anything that you don't that you weren't happy with, take it off the bill. That's the whole thing, like complete control for the clients, which allowed the company to really focus on that absolute satisfaction, that everybody's completely happy, because they know that if they're not, then they can take it off the bill, kind of thing, which is really an interesting approach. And that's kind of what you're describing there.
Yeah, and what I do is, though, I make sure that I'm sending the bill, and I make sure that it's already taken off, that we pre-talk about that, and it's already taken up. I don't let them control that. But I want to say this, Dean, after 22 years, I want to tell you how many invoices we had to take back, and this is,
tell me,
God's my witness, 3.
Ah, that's awesome. So
And you
that's
know
the
why,
kind of
Dean?
thing, right?
When you're in there, you're also bonding with those customers, and
Sure.
if you're really trying and you're doing your best, and it just happened to be an off day, 99% of people are very generous, and they're going to say, "Hey, you did it over. It looks fantastic."
Yes, that's great.
So
Yeah, because that's all they
yeah,
want is they just want it. They just want it done. They just want it done.
and it's funny too because us talking about that, it just happened. The third one just happened at Texas Roadhouse, but they have an awning in the front and it's metal, and he wanted it pressure washed, and I tried to explain to him that you don't so much need a pressure wash as you need it. You do need it cleaned off, but you need it painted. And he thought, well, no, I think the pressure washing is going to be just fine, which I knew it wouldn't be. So I explained that to him, and I said, now, after we power wash this, since you're not going to, at this point, take my suggestion of having it power washed and then painted, it's not going to look much different. So we did get it finished, Dean, and he called me a few days later, and he goes, man, this is a disaster. It doesn't look any different.
Imagine
now,
that, huh?
Yeah, and the average person, if you go into any other direction than, hey, not a problem, we will not put that on the bill.
Right.
Because prior to that, we have a monthly contract with them, so you got to be real careful there also. So we took it. Hey, he said, you really do that for me? No, I'll go ahead and pay for it, but absolutely, we're going to take it off the bill.
Yeah, and that's great. So that's why people stick with you all of that time.
Yes, and probably the main thing, Dean, when why I haven't had to work in 15 years is this. When there's certain people that love to, and it energizes them, and there's certain people that just get up each morning, they just want to go to work, clean their windows, do their pressure washing, do their parking lot striping, go home, relax, go to the casino, go to the bar, or whatever. So what I had to do is, since after I sold it, I don't really like to go back out after I sold it that first time. You feed the workers a line. You feed them the lines, which is, hey, you know what, over here at Chili's, they need their parking lot striped. When you see the boss, because they get to see them every day, don't sell them, but just tell them, hey, we noticed the parking lot needed restriping. We got a special going on. What do you think? So that's the reason why I haven't had to work in so many years, because the workers, they, since they're in front of them every day, they mention whatever our list is for what each business needs. And what we did was we incentivized them with this, Dean. If you get something extra by the quarter, by the month, or by the week, you keep the first 3 months.
Wow, the worker does.
The worker does.
Yeah, right. Wow, nice. So it's a good incentive program for them. That's awesome.
Because go ahead.
I was going to ask you, how many workers does it take to manage 400 clients? How many employees does that take?
This will surprise you, 3.
That's awesome. That's almost that's a cool thing, So if we're looking,
Dean, and the thing is, keeping in the back of my mind, I knew a couple of things. I don't want to deal with a lot of employees. That's always kind of my weakest link is working with employees and making sure they're doing what they're supposed to. So I didn't want to. That's the reason why I'm working out of my house, and I've only got 450 people, because since I stopped 15 years ago, there was a certain amount of money you're making. Of course, we're doing a couple other things, but there's a certain amount of money you're making that you're comfortable with as far as the headaches, if there are headaches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It was so funny. I had a friend years ago. Well, he's built a big company out of it. But 25 years ago or 30 years ago, he started out he did commercial cleaning, and did some of the landscaping stuff for these for businesses. But they would go in overnight and do the cleaning of the offices or stores or banks or whatever it was. And he worked, when he was first getting going, he had like a really cool lifestyle business in that he worked Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights, and that's it. And had, a nice six-figure business that was kind of a perfect owner-operator kind of business. And then he went on and built it, into a big, a big maintenance company. But that it never got to be where he was as happy up until maybe the last 10 years ago. But, that middle period of really growing it where the headaches became more and more as the revenue grew beyond what he had in that kind of lifestyle phase of the three weeks or 3 nights a week,
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned that. I have a friend that just started that business about 2 years ago, the exact thing you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And he grew it in 2 years to over 22 employees. But if that energizes you to work with that many, that's great. But it doesn't energize me because being in business for 22 years, Dean, man, to get good help that you can leave by themselves and know that they're going to take care of your customers, it's just there's a point where either you like to do that or you don't.
Right, I get it. Yep. Yeah, I get it. So what's the opportunity here now then? What is it that you're really, what would be your dream come true? What are you looking to do?
Okay, I can precisely tell you, Dean. What I'm trying to do is I want to be able to, number one, put out something to newer businesses where you're not shaking hands, you're sending them something to get that 30-day free trial, number one. Number two, the biggest part of this is, even if Logan takes this business over, which she is this next summer, wouldn't it just be so great, even if she didn't get one more new customer, but there was a way monthly that they're getting a letter or a card or whatever, but it has that offer already on there, and that's the dream come true for her side of it. Mm-hmm. For my side of it is seeing the syndication stuff. I mean, I'm really fired up about that. I'm fired up about that because this situation is so simple. Mm-hmm. It really, I mean, I want to say, like some people say, well, it's simple for you. No, it's pretty simple.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, is that this is one of those things where this kind of thing is clearly in the world of the internet where everybody's kind of, I call it, migrating to the cloud. We've been talking, I do a podcast with Dan Sullivan called The Joy of Procrastination. And one of the things we've been talking about is this migration of society into what I'm calling Cloudlandia. And everybody's kind of moving up there, that everybody wants to start a business online in the cloud that, is existing only up there. And there are still big opportunities on what I call the mainland. What you're describing is a mainland business. It's only happening in the physical world in a real geographic location, so, and there's lots and lots and lots of parking lots and buildings and windows that need to be cleaned every week and restriped every year and pressure washed and all of those things. Somebody has to do those things, and the competition for it seems to be getting less and less and less, especially if you're taking a real outwardly focused, customer-centric, service-based approach to it, and keep people. Once they have the problem solved, they're not going to go shopping around. It's only when they need it and they don't have a solution for it that they start seeking other solutions. As long as if you start somebody with the windows and the windows are clean and they're perpetually clean all the time, they don't have to think about it. So I think
Absolutely.
that you've got this opportunity to, for sure, in Profit Activator 2, using a postcard to offer this to local businesses. It's funny because today when I record More Cheese Less Whiskers, I do 2 on one day. So the person that I was recording with earlier this morning, he helps people with retail and office and commercial leases. And we were talking about the strip plaza as the thing for him. Do you have a lot of clients in that kind of world, or is it primarily standalone buildings, or who's your ideal client?
To be honest with you, Dean, it's always good to if you can get a plaza, because you can keep them in one area. But Dean, you said it earlier, everybody needs windows. I mean, they need pressure washing. So there's no, well, especially, Dean, if you're working in a very small town of 100,000 people and the surrounding towns are all small.
Yeah.
So the ideal would be franchise, for sure franchise, because they have to have it. The district manager comes down, man, what's wrong with your windows? And what's all those black splotches in the front door where the customers come in? Well, it's gum, because there's nobody pressure washing.
Right.
They have to have this.
Yes. And you keep that looking good. I mean, that's kind of a very cool, thing. And your cost on doing the window, like to start it, relative to the long-term contract basis of it, it makes total sense to offer it free for somebody do you do it for them free for a month? Is that the way that it works out?
Well, yes, Dean. When I say it's a 30-day free trial. I normally, depending on how big the place is, I don't give more than every other week.
Right.
To do the ones every other week, and then go in there and then try to go from there. But Dean, I did this, and it worked kind of better than the 30-day free, which was to first ask them. Go in there and say, hey, Dean, do you have anybody doing your windows right now? And if they say no, the closing rate right then and there is about 90%.
Uh-huh.
So I don't go in there right off the bat and do the 30-day free trial. But I was thinking, if Logan doesn't want to go into these businesses, how do you do that through mail? You need to have an offer that's just almost impossible to turn down, which would be 30-day free trial.
Well, you could probably do that same thing by email. That if you you sent a 9-word email to people, subject line windows, body of the message, hey, Jerry, do you have somebody doing your windows?
Absolutely.
Right.
The main thing is, Dean, the main thing that I think I'm trying to do is group those offers when you get in there to splinter, because that's the whole business is splintering, is when you get in there, I want to have those emails or the back of that postcard ready to go with each message is the same. It's the same for group 1. It's the same for group 3 or 2.
Yes.
That's the key for a person like my daughter that wants to do it, that doesn't want to shake hands.
Yeah, I get it.
When I say that, I mean eyeball to eyeball.
I understand. Yeah, she's 32. She's been raised in Cloudlandia. That's the whole thing. She's social media. She's very social in social media, probably, but not in real life. And that's the kind of thing. So she'd be more comfortable by email even than by meeting somebody face to face. Now, the thing that the whole business hinges on is, does that work? Can you send somebody an email that says, do you have somebody doing your windows? and them saying, no, we don't, uh, and you then offering a free trial, let us come out and do them for free. That's that model. If somebody could use that algorithm that you create, of how do you, what are the words that you use? You've created the algorithm for the in-person portion of it, right? Because you know what to say and what to do. You've got a sales system for it to get that client.
Right.
And then you can really help somebody once they get a client. But what's going to hinge it is, how do I, in Winter Haven here, get 100 clients? How do I get the first 100 clients?
Wow. Yeah. Dean, I didn't really bear down on that thought, and you are right. My deal was pretty simple for me, but yeah, to turn that into you send out 100 of those. Will you actually get anybody to say, "Come out, let's do the free"?
That's what you've got to figure out, right? Is between sending somebody a postcard or sending an email or making a phone call from a central, because you could do this from a centralized basis kind of thing. Then the decision that you have to make is, do you want to, build it out yourself, or do you want to sell it as a business opportunity, or do you want to go all the way and create it as a franchise?
Right. Wow. Yeah, because most people I talk to, they're what you're saying, in the cloud, and they don't have any desire to do my model, even though, gosh, if they could just do it for a few months and get started.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. When I was coming up in the marketing world, where I caught my mind on fire was back in the late 80s, and I took this newsletter called the Gary Halbert Newsletter. And I mean, the thing is, and then coming forward to 2018, taking all Jay Abraham and Joe and yourself, but since when you're thinking of 22 years of almost saying to yourself, I don't understand, kind of, sort of, because I don't need all that. You know what I'm saying? But that's me.
Yeah.
So I always was disappointed in a lot of the cloud stuff, but not because I had Gary or Jay or any of them do anything for me, because I'm sure if you would have actually paid them to write your opening, your dollar bill opening letter to introduce yourself. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, common sense will tell you, if someone opens up a FedEx package and the very first thing they see is a letter with a dollar bill attached to it, they're going to probably read it.
Yes, agreed.
So,
agreed.
You know what, Dean, that we just solved it. There it is, right there. That's the opening package, a FedEx package with a simple letter with a dollar bill attached to it, or a piece of glass, or if it's that, or something in power washing attached to the top of it, and introduce yourself.
Yeah, and
try to get that 20-day, that 30-day free trial.
Yeah, but it could be, you could start with email first.
Absolutely.
I think if you look at it here's how I would approach this. If I look at it, that ultimately what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a stable 6-figure business for an operator who wants to, that's going to be two things: either somebody who's managing this process with recurring clients, right? Like a small number. What would be, like, you're running you have 3 people for 400 clients. So I would extrapolate from that one person could have 150 clients, say, right? Is that about right? Or
yeah, Dean, it's right in that area.
Mm-hmm. And so you look at that there's potentially the opportunity for somebody to have a 6-figure business with 150 clients. And have
Right.
a stable business. Now, the other thing where would the level be that somebody would be able to have a six-figure business that they're not doing the work? Like as a owner operator, you've got the dream right now, right? Like you're living the real dream in that you have a business that you own that runs without you.
Absolutely, Dean.
That you don't work in that business.
No.
So how many clients would I need, would you think, comfortably to get to a point where I have a six-figure business that's self-managing?
Well, that's a good question. When I first started out, I don't know where they pulled this number out of, and I believe it might have been Gary in one of his newsletters. He was talking exactly what you're talking about, and what he said was, if you're by yourself, you should be able to do it within 50, start making a living after 50 or 80 customers. And what I was doing at that time was I was going to businesses and picking up their vehicles and washing them and taking them back. And I was charging, I believe I was charging back then, $47 to do a pickup and drop off. And I see what you're saying. I've never really broke that down, but that is interesting. For one person, what would they have to? Well, it's pretty simple math. If I do $47 like I was doing on the cars, if you're doing my business, you're at my average ticket's only about that initial is only about $180. So you would just do the math on that.
All right. So $180 a month for that.
Yes,
right?
for the privilege to get in there and to splinter them, because that's where the money's at.
And then what would you say that you would be able to, if you look at one client, how much of that splinter business is available on an annual basis, let's say? Because you're saying they don't want to see more than a couple of $100 on the monthly invoice, but over the course of the year, then they'll end up paying you, a lump sum to steam or to pressure wash and a lump sum to stripe the parking lot, all these special items that could add up to how much additional from one client. What's the annual value of one client?
Dean, it would be $3,000, $2,500.
Yeah. Okay.
But let me preface this real quick with where my situation might not be like the person who really likes to work the actual business. You have to understand to get into a business and splinter. Most of your workers do not like to do that. So that's the reason why I when I was listening to your podcast, I thought, you know what? Most people don't really like to do that, even though you're giving them the incentive of the first. I do first 3 months because I do other things. You don't have to do it. Most of it would be. In fact, I got that idea from Jay Abraham. He said, I'll tell you right now how to increase your business this quick. Give them the first month. And he was he was, it was off the chain that first year when I pushed it. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
So it's going to depend, on something like that. You got to understand, when you're out of the business for 15 years, your workers get complacent where when they walk into the place, because they don't know they have to get in and get out of there because they have so many. If you only have three or four employees out in the field, they have to get their work done and leave. And so that's the main thing on their mind. That's the reason why after you get in, if you could find a way to splinter with email or with a card. Yeah. So to answer your question, I really don't know because I let it go for 15 years, that part of it.
Well, there's I'll recommend a book for you that was, that I think is really kind of a good path here. there's a book called The One-to-One Future that was written in it was written in the 90s, mid 90s. And it's amazing to reread it now and look through to see how accurate the predictions and their what they were calling for is. But essentially, you've got this opportunity to each month be in front of these people and kind of advocate for whatever the things that you offer are, to let them know. Even if it's just, whenever you're ready, here's some other things that we offer. We're having a special this month, like you said, on striping for parking lots. And if that shows up at just the right time, when they've got a, even if the worker is not tasked with approaching the owner or the manager about this, but to report to the owner of the business, of your business, like you, about that these things need doing. Like, it's almost like he's got on each level a little checklist that he's kind of doing a visual inspection that does the parking lot need striped? Does the fire area the curbs need repainted? Does it need pressure washing? Does it need painting? Whatever the other things are, that you have this ongoing intelligence of, this is what they need right now. So you can serendipitously kind of fall into their world at just the right time.
Well, absolutely. And the timing is very, very, very important in that I control that because I already know that they're not going to get their parking lot striped more than once every other year.
Right.
And so I know I'm not going to send them a card or going to hit them up after 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, I see what you're saying.
They know, unless the worker tells you, they need, or they send a picture. That maybe that's part of the thing, is that they're once a quarter they do a visual inspection, and maybe they take a picture with their smartphone of the area that needs the pressure washing. They kind of do a visual look down. Is there a bunch of gum and dirt at the entrance? Is there oil stains all over the parking lot? Those kind of things, which would be pressure washing opportunities. Or is there whatever the other the other services that you offer, just doing a visual kind of lookout and reporting back to headquarters to be able to now deploy, hey, here's a special offer for pressure washing, or here's a special offer for parking lot striping. That those things are showing up at just the right time.
Yes, and that's great. I'm
that's
loving
just
that.
a systemic. That's just a systemic way. But what you need then are the assets, the marketing assets for how do you then present that to people, right? So you look at it, the whole business hinges on, can we get somebody in front of somebody who'll let them do the windows,
right,
and go from there. And then realizing that not everybody is going to be a go-getter like Jerry, right? Some people,
absolutely,
and I think that part of the success of the business is your ability to be that person. That's part of it. But you've got to now, through marketing assets, be able to help people succeed in spite of not being Jerry,
Yeah. So where my mind's going is twofold because I know you have to get off this call here in a second, but where my mind is going is twofold, Dean. Okay, so on turning it over to my daughter, it would be the only thing we need there, since we have these over 400 clients, is to do the card and a couple of other things to be in front of them every month, and then the offer is going to be, which we already know what they're needing. So in your mind, is that part pretty much solved?
Yeah, I think like the part for Morgan is really going to be about if the workers are out there and they're doing, like if you said, if she just tasked them with, okay, here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to, at every client that you go to, I want you to do this quick visual inspection. I want you to look at the parking lot, and you've got a checklist, right? That they're saying,
right.
Okay, how does
that checklist.
Okay, the parking lot stripes are fine. There's oil stains and there's dirt on the sidewalks that pressure washing would be needed right now. There's painting that needs to be done, or if those are the big three that you're talking about, then just doing that visual inspection, then it could be as easy as a quick note from Morgan emailing them saying, hey, Jerry, John was there earlier today. He told me that it looks like your parking lot needs some striping, and we're having a special on parking lot striping this month. Would you like us to come out and do the parking lot for you? Just
right.
that
could you see
easy.
Could you see it being email first, or since we have these customers, I already know that you are 1,000% right, and we're not top of mind. We're not top of mind like we should be on the monthly newsletter or that postcard.
Yeah.
So automatically that's going to be started ASAP. So now we're in front of them at least once a month, and that back of that card we could already have the pre-written offers right there.
Yeah, it could. But part of the thing is
and then follow up with email.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I'm thinking, I don't know.
Both.
You could do it either way.
Yeah, no, both. I mean, no matter what, you've got your after unit for the 400 is going to be, sending a monthly postcard to them. That's going to be a valuable. Thing.
Yeah.
But so the email, I think, is going to be a very specific thing, where when you, at the beginning of each quarter or each month or something, everybody does, the workers do a visual and just do a checklist and say,
I love that idea, that checklist. Yes. And believe it or not, they've been with me so long that they're really cool about that. If I give them that instruction, number one, and number two, incentivize it.
Yes. Yeah, so, either way, carrot or stick, incentivize it or penalize it for not doing it.
Yes. So in my mind, Dean, most of that is pretty well you figured out. What about so what you're saying on my dream is, wow, I have to almost start over and start from the beginning and see if it can even happen without a person that doesn't want to go in and shake hands.
That's exactly what it is. That's what you have to be able to do. You have to be able to take somebody who, because let's face it, if somebody's got enough, if somebody's you're not going to follow somebody else's plan, right? You're not going to go in and I mean, you're a get it done guy. You're just going to go in and do it and build the business yourself that way.
Right. That's how I would do it because I know that the splintering is the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And now you know that. So now it's like a matter of you've got, when you look at it, that part of the thing is, as long as the windows are getting cleaned and are clean, that that's the core of it, right? That's the core thing that's going to be.
Got to have that.
You got to have that. So is it difficult to find workers who will do that? And is there skills or things that you've learned?
Well, probably on that end of it, that's going to always be your biggest challenge. I don't know what it was, but I got lucky from the very beginning, and all three of these guys have been with me for 22 years.
Wow.
So I'm a type of person that probably could not talk on that subject, but I can imagine that. No, it's not easy, Dean. It's not. I'm not going to say it's easy because, no, it's not.
So describe these. This is fascinating. So describe these people to me who are the workers who have been with you for 22 years doing windows every week for 150 people, right? So describe that person. That's
okay. That person
situation.
is a person. That person, and I knew this from a long time ago because my father-in-law was in the business of selling burial plots, I think is what they called it. I'm not sure what they call it, but they had to take the test called the Briggs something test.
Myers-Briggs.
Yes. They had to take the Myers-Briggs test, and he really put that into my head many years ago that he really believed that it really worked.
Yeah.
So
let me guess what this person is. So they are ISTJs. Is that what they are?
You know what, Dean? It was so long ago. It was so long ago. You're probably right, but it was so long ago. I just remember what he told me, and I did take the test, and I was perfect for what I was doing. But I do remember him explaining it to me enough to know, Dean, I got to find a guy who hates selling. It really kind of almost hates selling.
Introverted. Introvert.
They love to just do one thing and one thing only. A, B, C, D. Go to work, get off, go to the casino, or go do whatever they do. I don't know. And that really energizes them. I mean, I've got two of the guys that get up at 4 a.m. and work till 6. They just love it.
Yeah.
So that's your challenge is to find that type of a mindset. You can't find an entrepreneurial mindset because they'll learn the business and just take it from you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
And even though many have tried that, they couldn't make it work for whatever reason. I think they were waiting by the phone instead of shaking hands. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And they just want to be and how much do you pay? That are they paid hourly, or are they paid per client, or are they paid?
Yeah, they're paid hourly. It's more of a salary, Dean, and it comes out to right now. I want to say like $15 an hour, but that's not where their money. All of them still make money closing, walking across the street, or doing this because they are allowed to keep that first 3 months. So, I don't, and they get that in cash. Yeah, you don't wait till it. I mean, a lot of people tell me, well, don't they got to do the thing first for 3 months and then get paid? I tried that, and it wasn't as exuberating to them. It wasn't exciting to them. What was exciting to them was closing it and getting the money up front. I mean, either you have the money for that or you don't.
Right. Yep.
So, it's 15. I mean, this is after 22 years, though.
Yes.
Because
I get it.
I tried to help them out and say the money's not in the hourly. It's it's in that 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 whatever a month. You do have to.
For
go
them to
across the street
understand that that salary is on the expense side of the business, and when you get them on the results side, that's where all the action is. Yeah. And some people are not that, but it may be that that's the core thing is, that there are people who do the work, and then there are people who go and get the work, because there's probably equally a young go-getter who wants to go and get the business but doesn't want to do it, and so you build that sort of a team around that. I think Myers-Briggs is a great example of how to right matches for the personalities. And then
Yeah.
the Colby Index is another one that is a great thing for who people are. Yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, I think it's a very exciting opportunity. And I think that to kind of summarize it, the thing that you need to solve, or the way to think about this, or how I would think about this, is to take what you know and imagine that you're building this business through somebody else in Winter Haven, Florida, for instance.
Right.
What would have to be addressed in order for me to duplicate what you've done in Lawton in a way that I can get up to the point where I have a business that's running on autopilot,
Exactly. Wow, Dean, fantastic talking to you. You got a lot out of this call. I love it. Glad I got a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This was a great thing. You got a real good, syndicatable opportunity, because there's probably a lot of people who would love to have a business like you've started there.
Absolutely.
It's a pretty good model, Dean. Right?
Yes, I love it. That's why I'm thinking, man, Dean can help me syndicate this thing. But I do see
absolutely.
your point. I have to. But I still want to. Hopefully, I can still work with you and get this thing done. The syndication part of it, because I'm lousy at the cloud stuff, Dean.
I get it. This would be the kind of thing I would love if you can maybe think about in the fall coming down to Orlando for one of my Breakthrough Blueprint events, where we could spend 3 days and kind of map out the blueprint for it. That would be a really good thing amazing for you to do. Yeah,
that would be amazing. Yeah. What? Cool. How do we set that up? You shoot an email, or what do I got to do?
I will. Yeah, I'll send you an email right after this. But I always, whenever the dates are, in my weekly, the emails that I send out every week, I'll say, here's what's coming up, kind of thing. So the next one is in early October. I think it's like the 7th, 8th, and 9th or something like that. I'm heading to Australia in August here. So when I get back, then we'll have we've got 2 in the fall in Orlando. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, Dean. I'll be looking forward.
Jerry. I love it.
Thanks, okay, man. Dean. Thank you so much, man.
Okay, bye. And there we have it. Jerry's got a lot of great enthusiasm, so I really enjoyed that conversation. And, if you've got something that is a business that you think would be a good syndication, something where if you're thinking, the business I've got would work to, I'd like to think about maybe packaging up what I've figured out and licensing it or duplicating it in other cities. It's an amazing model. I've got a lot of experience doing that. That's really the thing that I've done more than anything else, and I'd love to help you with it. Let's start with sending me an email to dean@deanjackson.com. Just put syndication in the subject line, and we'll take it from there. If you want to see how the 8 profit activators are applying to your business right now, a great place to start is with our Profit Activator scorecard that you can do at profitactivatorscore.com. That'll give you a good idea of where the 8 profit activators are either growing or slowing your business right now. Show you where the big opportunities are and give you a really good sense of awareness around your business. If you want to continue this conversation, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com. You can download a copy of the More Cheese Less Whiskers book. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, click on the Be a Guest link. Tell me a little bit about your business, and then we'll reach out and see if we can hatch some evil schemes with you. That's it for this week. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.